Welcome back to another episode of Built from the Inside Out. I'm Brianda Carrasco, your host, and I have been gone for a while. We did an episode about 2 weeks ago in Spanish, so today we'll be translating it. So this is officially me coming back and saying that I'm back again. I had been wanting to start the podcast again to talk about a few topics. I've been doing a lot of inner work, so there's a lot of new things that I've learned, but I didn't want to do it by myself, so I had been praying to God to send me the perfect co-host, someone who has my same values and beliefs, and someone who is knowledgeable in the topics that I've been wanting to talk about. And he sent me Ale. So I have with me my new co-host, Alejandra Mora. Yay! Do the little clapping sounds.
The T one.
We have a new mixer, so we're playing with it. But welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to have you and all the topics we'll be talking about.
No, thank you for having me and for such a incredible presentation. I hope to feel the words that you just said.
The what?
The words.
Okay. Yes, of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can get to know you a little bit more.
Okay, I'm Alejandra Mora. I'm from Colombia. I have 27 years old. And to be honest, this is a challenging part of my life because I speak Spanish. So this is, like I say, I'm a little nervous. That's why I'm trying to just control myself and explain.
No, but you're doing great. And I'm so proud of you because you were like, no, I want to do. So we're going to do both English and Spanish. That way all of our audience understands what we're talking about. But you were like, I really want to try the English one. And I'm like, that's so awesome. So she's better at speaking Spanish. So when we do the Spanish one, she's going to take over. And then, We'll just like rotate back and forth.
Yeah, I hope you can see my progress with my pronunciation and everything.
Yeah.
And we're gonna speak about the limited beliefs or beliefs.
Yes, limiting beliefs.
One of my limited beliefs is that I can speak a perfect English. So I'm trying to work on that one. So let's see how it's going.
Well, it's gonna go great, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I admire you for that because not everyone does that. They don't get out of their comfort zone and and be like, I want to be better, so I'm gonna do something that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for the support.
Yes, of course.
And what is a personal belief? Let's start.
Okay, yeah, so let's start. Let's talk about limiting beliefs. What would you say is a limiting belief?
I feel like the limited beliefs is the idea that you create of your identity.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's something like whenever you're trying to give or say or speak about your identity, like saying who are you or what are you capable of. So I feel like we are always believers. We have let me just, because I have some notes. What is a belief for you? So that way.
Yeah, so I think limiting beliefs is something that you believe in, and sometimes it didn't come from you. Somebody told you that. Maybe in your childhood, maybe your parents told you that, or maybe at school somebody made you feel a certain way. So it's a belief that you've been carrying about yourself that has been limiting you throughout your life. So an example would be, in the last episode, we talked about money and how you said for you limiting belief was that you have to work hard for your money.
Yeah.
And, that's not always true. You can work smart for your money and still make money. I think another common one is there are no good men out there. You're limiting yourself. But if you change your perspective, you'll realize there are good men out there. Like you see all these women in relationships with good men, so they do exist. Money, men. What else did we talk about?
Maybe one of the most common limited belief is that when you put a person or you give a description of a person that doesn't belong to the person. I don't know if I'm being clear.
Okay.
But it's something like let's say for me, a limited belief is I cannot speak perfect English.
Okay.
So that's a limited belief. Just because I'm Hispanic doesn't mean that I have to pronunciate bad words or I'm sorry,
Bad pronunciation?
So yeah, I can't.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm so nervous right now.
It's okay. We're here in confidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another one is if you don't have a job 9 to 5, you cannot do the money that you need.
Yeah.
For living.
Yeah. I think another one too is like when people are like, "Oh, I can't lose weight."
Oh yeah.
People are losing weight every day. Why can't you? That's
true.
a limiting belief.
Oh, I don't have the time to do that.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that one, we use that one a lot, right?
Yeah, we do, but really it's just what are you willing to make time for?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Another thing that I have, it's maybe I don't have the willpower.
Okay. Yeah. Because you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely you do. Or one that I use a lot whenever I'm speaking English is I don't understand. Or I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you just say it, I don't know, because but you know what are you trying to, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I don't know whenever someone asks you what you want to do for your life and you say I don't know. I feel like that's a belief that you just create for yourself in order to avoid
Yes.
to say the truth.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about real quick about how I came to like doing all this inner work in the first place.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So in January, I had an accident, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it, or I'm not going to talk about it except that it happened. But I was told I couldn't work out, that I couldn't post certain things, and whenever I was last year, when I was planning for 2022, I had all these things that I wanted to do for the company, for BCN, for the podcast, for another project that I can't talk about just yet, for the tequila company. Like, I was just, in my head, I was just going to be so busy and I was going to be doing so much. And then this happens and they're like, no, you can't do a lot of the things that I was planning on doing. I was going to do a fitness competition as well. And they're like, no, you can't. So then I was left in this place to where I was like, okay, well, now what am I going to do? And I was like in a place of, at first I was frustrated. I was mad. And then I was like, okay, I just need to be patient. And then in like these past weeks, I started doing the inner work. I feel like God kind of like stopped me and was like, hey, like it's time for you to heal. You need to sit down and just look in the mirror, because I feel like I kept myself busy so much because I didn't want to look at myself and the things that I needed to work on. So I was kind of, I guess in a way, like forced to do that. And I learned that inner work is basically deconstructing everything that I'm not. So during that process, I did a course, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I started following this lady. She's the Universe Guru on YouTube. Okay. And then I also did Fire You Up with Natalia. And during that process, I realized that all this time, psychology is what I love to do. But here's a limiting belief. When I was in college, I told my mom I wanted to major in psychology, and she was like, no, that's bad. You shouldn't do that. It's because I guess she kind of thought it was kind of like psychic. She didn't really understand what it was. And she was like, no, that's bad. Or she was like, no, because you have to at least have a master's or a PhD if you want to do anything with it. And me being first generation graduate or college student, she didn't really expect much after I got my undergraduate. And then she was like, you're gonna go crazy listening to people's problems all day. And she just like talked me out of it. So I graduated, and then I went on to grad school, and I was like, okay, now I'm at a master's level, let me take one class, let me see how it goes. It went really good. It just makes sense to me, like it's common sense to me. So I decided to go through with it, but I did industrial organizational psychology, not counseling like I really wanted to.
Wow.
So all these years I've kind of been running from it, and then a few weeks ago I was kind of like, I just realized like, hey, psychology is what I like. Like I'll listen to lectures on my free time. Like, who does that? So it's, and I love talking about it. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to school and finally do it.
Wow.
So I had been letting her limiting beliefs keep me from fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah, because I feel that's one of the things about limited beliefs, that they always hold you back whenever you have an idea or whenever you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And if they don't hold you back, they maintain you in the same zone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that because that happens sometimes when you feel comfortable is because you haven't explored that much, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, like whenever I don't know, if you have a job that do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go to that.
We'll leave it in there. It's fine. We'll be transparent with our struggles.
Okay. And they were like, oh my god, how can I excuse this?
See, this is why you don't let limiting... See, if we were like, oh no, we don't know how to do this, we would have limited ourselves to never do it.
That's
instead
true.
Of just starting.
Yeah, and we have been trying to record this episode like so many times.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was grateful for that because I was so afraid of just speak.
You were like, yes.
Yeah, I was like, woo. But that's what limited beliefs does. They always trying to protect yourself from a fear, a fear that you just imagine.
Right.
But you don't even know if it's gonna be true or not. So you create your own scenarios.
Yeah.
Of what it's gonna happen if, and then you just live that as an imagine scenarios.
Yeah.
Like it is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying an example of let's use my example. I was trying to avoid English as much as I can, even though I live in USA. I don't know if I'm speaking right. So
No, you're doing good.
So I was trying to avoid as much as I can because I have a situation when somebody hired me to record a commercial for a furniture store. I say this story on the other episode.
Yeah.
So when I record my episode, I was like speaking as I don't know, I didn't have any fear. So they run the episode over Facebook, and I started reading the comments, and I noticed that a person was talking about my accent, and I don't know, that made me feel so bad because I remember he said, "You're just the cheap version of Sofia Vergara," and so. For some reason, I'm Colombian too, like Sofia Vergara, but I don't like how she speaks or how she presents herself. Okay. Sorry, Sofia, I love you, but not that much.
Not the way you talk.
Yeah. So when he said that, I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna. I feel bad, to be honest. I feel really bad. So in that moment, I made my belief. I create my belief that I'm not gonna talk English more until I get better. So it was really hard for me because I didn't try. I don't even try to speak. When I was on an event and someone started to speak with me, I'm just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still learning," or things like that, just to avoid the conversation.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I always understand and I always can talk. Of course, I know that I have a little accent and I have some mispronunciations, but I'm trying to get better in that. I'm not trying. I'm getting better.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Because trying is not doing anything. So
yeah. So you being here and doing this is huge.
For me it's challenging, but I'm trying to. No, I'm not trying. I'm going to take away that belief. I don't know how.
Yeah. You're gonna remove it. You're gonna let go of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove that belief. Yeah. So, of course, it's hard, as you can hear at the beginning of this episode. For me, was like when you start to speaking, I was like, all my fears came again. So I know it's difficult to overcome those fears, but I was thinking, what is the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
And to be honest, it's just someone is gonna laugh, but I'm pretty sure I know more English than you know Spanish.
Yeah.
So right now, that's my new belief, that it could be a better it could be a good belief for now, because that's the thing about beliefs.
Yeah.
The limited belief, that the limited beliefs are not always limited beliefs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can explain that, because I know I say it right.
Maybe like they can push you to do better, or what do you mean?
Sometimes the belief that you have exponentiate yourself. I don't know if that's a word. The potential.
Okay, so They work in your favor. So, okay, so you're saying some beliefs could actually push you or encourage you to do certain things, right?
Yes, like all the limited beliefs in some points were...
I think I have an example.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I grew up, so my dad died when I was little, and then my mom remarried, and she didn't have a good marriage. So I was very scared to end up in an unhealthy marriage and get a divorce. So that actually pushed me to do all the things that I've done. Or also, I thought my mom's not like the kind of person to... Or she wasn't. She is now. But she wasn't the kind of person to tell you, oh, I'm proud of you, I love you. So I felt like I kept trying to do things to make her proud or make her love me. So those were limiting beliefs that actually worked out in my favor. Oh. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, and also there is another example that when you're a child and you're trying to cross the street and your mom told you, you have to hold my hand whenever you're going to cross the street. And then you have that belief because you're a child, right? That belief is trying to protect yourself.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you grow up and you have around 28, just like me, and you still have that belief, what is going to happen? That if you don't have your mom holding your hand, you're not going to cross the street. So you can see how easy...
So, yeah, so sometimes you have limiting beliefs that at that time they were good, but as you get older... they no longer serve you. So now they're holding you back.
Yes, that was
okay.
Mistakes.
Okay.
That's why we're a team.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like the first thing to change those limited beliefs is the awareness.
Okay.
So whenever you know you have the 60% of the process to overcome that belief, that limited beliefs. So another thing that I learned is that you don't have to destroy that limited belief. You only gonna, as soon as you have awareness of your limited belief, you're gonna change it for a new one, for a potential belief. I think a potential belief, I think that's the right word. In Spanish is una creencia que te potencia, potenciadora.
Okay, so what would be an example?
For example, the one that you believe that you can do it, or if you believe that the exercise make you feel better, that's something that it's potential in yourself.
Okay, yeah. So I believe that if I eat right and I work out, I'm gonna be healthy.
Yeah, that's a potential belief because it's making you healthy. But what if you change that? How this potential belief can become a limited belief?
Maybe I can develop like an unhealthy relationship with food and be like, oh, I can't ever cheat on my diet because I'm gonna get sick or I'm gonna gain weight.
Exactly. So you have always a belief. You're always gonna have a belief. Actually, we ourselves always have a lot of beliefs.
Right.
If I ask you who are you, you're gonna tell me what you believe about yourself. You see?
Okay.
I don't know if I'm explaining that.
Yeah. I mean, when you ask people like who are you, a lot of the times they give you things like what they do for a living or
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a belief because what happened if you lost your job?
Right. Yeah. And then who are you?
Exactly. Or what if you say, I'm the person who, I don't know, who always run in the mornings, and then you have an accident and you can run. Who are you now?
Okay.
So you see how every time that you have a situation, you are changing your belief.
Right.
If we go back in the days, women were treated as it's almost as an object.
Okay.
We don't have the power to vote. We don't have the power to speak. So that was a belief, right? Women can be capable of this. There was a belief that in some point was limited belief. So I know a lot of women that still have those beliefs because those beliefs pass through the
through generations.
Yeah. So how we overcome that? We just soltar.
We let go.
We let go that belief, and then we start to have more power, and then we start to create more opportunities for ourselves. And you can see a lot of women that still have those beliefs that we are not the same as the men's, and of course we're not the same as the men's because we're different,
no, we're not.
In our physical, but I'm talking about the capability of doing something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we overcome that belief as a generation. And that's the thing too. Whenever you have the information that says, I'm always,
no, you're good.
I'm always doing this, or I'm always, when you use those words, I'm always, that's a belief that you just inherited from your family or your culture.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about childhood beliefs. So one of the things I did, so when I took the course, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 6-lesson course, and the first course is about limiting beliefs. And, I signed up for it, and I was like, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't expect it to be that deep. But I opened it and I read it and I closed the computer right away. I was like, I'm not ready for this yet. This is too deep. But so what it said to do, so then I came back once I felt ready to do it. And then it says that limiting beliefs are distortions we have learned from our environment. And these are beliefs that are only true for a small group of people, not for everyone. So there are absolute truths and there are beliefs. And one of the things that she mentions, which I thought was really cool, was she teaches you how to scan your body. Like she'll have you like close your eyes, and then she'll be like, think of something you love, like an object. Like let's say you love coffee. Think about coffee, think about all the great things about coffee, and then notice how you feel. So check your emotions, and then you're going to feel good about it because you love coffee. She was like, now close your eyes and think bad things about coffee, like coffee's nasty, or, like just bad things. Like, how does that feel? So that's just like an example that she uses. So we can use your example, like we did in the last podcast. How did it make you feel when people were saying those things? It didn't make you feel good, right? So it's a lie.
Yes.
Yeah. So then she talks about how, and then I also did this exercise with a few other people. And like a friend, like she started crying about a certain belief she had. And I was like, that's how you know it's not true. Like an absolute truth isn't going to make you cry. Like an absolute truth would be gravity. That's true for everyone, right? So like a friend thought like her mom didn't love her. Another person that I did it with, she thought that when people looked at her, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like one of her traumas, like her face. Like they would always tell her, oh, you always look mad, or you always look a certain way. And she's like, but I don't do anything to, she's like, I'm fine. And it's like, and then she started crying, and I was like, see, it's not true. I was like, you have a beautiful face, you are like a friendly person. And I was like, it's okay for you to smile. So she would never want to smile. Wow. So it's just things that we hold on to. And if you want to kind of scan your body and see if it's true or not, just think about how it makes you feel, because the truth is going to make you feel good. Like an example she used was a daughter of God. How does that make you feel? That makes you feel great. Oh, it must be true. I know some people aren't believers. Not everyone believes in God. But if you just go based on your emotions, what makes you feel good, like really scan your body. And if it's something that hurts or makes you cry or it makes you feel really bad, then it's probably a lie.
Yeah, that's true. One of the biggest emotions that comes with limited beliefs is fear.
Right.
Fear and guilt.
Yeah.
And it's always about you or the interactions that you have, or it could be about whatever you're capable of. I remember one person told me one day, if you can think of it, you can do it.
Right.
You only have to find the tools to get where your mind is showing you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, I think an example we used last time was me going on a trip when I was in college. And I had told my mom, I was like, hey, and it was going to be my first time traveling out of the country. Well, except for Mexico, but, like overseas. And I was going by myself. I didn't know anyone. I was going with the school, but I didn't, know anyone that I was going to meet everybody there. So she was crying, and she was like, oh my God, no, what are you doing? That's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So we're talking about how every mind is basically a world of its own. So in her world, the world was a dangerous place. So she didn't want me to go. In my world, where I was at college, I kept seeing how people kept studying abroad and everybody would come back and everything was good and, you know, people would have fun. So in my world, I was like, no. I was like, it seems like it's a good experience, so I'm going to go have a good experience. So I went with that mentality that I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time. And I did. It's actually one of the best trips I've ever taken in my life. But like I was telling you in the last episode, if I had gone like thinking, oh my God, it's going to be dangerous, oh my God, it's going to be so bad, I would not have had the same experience I had.
That's true.
Because it's all in your mind.
But you can see how you have the option to adapt the beliefs of your mom or just...
Yeah, I could have, I mean, I adapted some, like we talked about psychology, but that one I was like, no, I'm not going to adopt this belief.
And that's good. I feel like something that you can do always is question everything that you have on your mind. We as a human beings, we're trying to avoid problems or conflicts as much as we can do.
Yeah.
So sometimes fears, the only things that does is
hold you back.
Yeah, hold you back, but in a good way, because fear is not that bad. Fear is trying. Let's use the fire as an example. Okay. If you take trying to hold fire, you're gonna get burned, right? Get burned. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to hold fire, you're gonna get burned. Mm-hmm. But you create the fear, right, of not touching the fire.
Right.
Si tú agarras el fuego, tú vas a tener miedo de quemarte porque ya viviste esa experiencia. Entonces el miedo te está protegiendo.
Okay, so she's saying that if you have gotten burnt in the past, you're gonna develop a fear or respect for fire, so you're not going to do it again, and that's going to protect you. So actually, I was listening to The Power of Now the other day when I was driving. So like in order for me to really grasp a concept or really like say I feel confident talking about it, I need to actually read, not listen. So I'm not like 100% sure how he explained it, but I can like talk a little bit about what he said. He was saying that's not fear, it's common sense. He's basically saying fear is a lie. It's all in your head and it's a lie. And he was like, and then that someone said, well, what about fire? You know, if you got burned, you know, not to touch it again. And he was like, that's not fear. He was like, that's intelligence. That's common sense.
Wow, that's
So I was like, that's interesting. I'm like, I hadn't heard that before. Because you're not.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay.
Because to be honest, you have your basic emotions. That's part of ourselves,
right? But then if you think about it, like let's say there's a fire next to you, do you feel fear?
Yeah, of course.
That's
gonna protect me.
No, like a fire, like a bonfire, or like the kitchen. You turn on the stove.
No.
You don't feel fear, right? But you know not to put your hand there.
Yeah.
But it's not fear. It's common sense.
Yeah, it's common sense.
Right?
But I have to develop the fear to create that common sense, don't you think?
Maybe. I don't know. It's my first time hearing this, so I'm still like trying. I need to sit down and actually read the book, and then we'll sit down and talk about this specific thing.
We can talk about our fears. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
About limited beliefs. What are the most common limited beliefs that you hear or that you tell to yourself?
I think one of the ones I was telling myself before I started the podcast was that I wasn't ready, that I didn't have the right equipment, that I didn't want to make the drive all the way to the studio, so I kept like having like all these excuses, I guess limiting beliefs that were stopping me.
Yeah.
And then finally I said, like as soon as you said yes, I was like, okay, all limiting beliefs out the window. We're doing this, and let me buy a new mixer, let me buy a new camera. I was like, whatever we got to do, but let me get everything ready for it. So.
And I think that's a common belief. With that you have to be perfect in order to do something.
Right.
Another thing that I read is the top 10 limited beliefs.
Okay.
So one is fear of success. Of success. Fear of success.
Like more money, more problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a belief that everyone say. Oh, you have to fear of success. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Because sometimes people say you have fear of success. I'm pronouncing it right? Okay, but if you think about it, you don't even know what is success for you.
Exactly.
So how you're gonna have fear?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you create your own scenario in your mind, and then you think about the possibilities that this are gonna be happen. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the taxes.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, oh, how I'm gonna do it.
And then if you do your research, it's like a lot of rich people don't even pay taxes. Like they know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
So instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay all these taxes, be like, okay, I don't want to say how can I get out, but what can I do? Where can I put my money? So, it's not a problem.
That's true. The other one is fear we are not good enough to achieve what we want.
Oh, self-worth. That's a big one. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, for me too. I feel like everyone have this one, right?
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like it comes a lot from your childhood. So I think it also depends how you were raised. Like if your parents had low self-worth, they probably passed that on to you. And if your parents had high self-worth, they probably passed that on to you. I'm not saying everybody, because obviously you can have two kids and they end up being completely different, but
that's true.
But I feel like it plays a big role, like if your parents did or did not have high self-worth.
The other one is that's completely true.
Yeah.
The other one is fear of rejection. And I think that's the one that I have now with the English.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have the rejection of the people again.
That's one that I'm actually working on. Yeah, because I've been wanting to go to more stores to try to get the supplements in. Oh. And I've kind of been like, it's been holding me back, instead of me just going out there and talking to them and asking them, which I know it's what I need to do. So it's actually what I'm planning on doing next week. But I watched a TikTok the other day, and the guy was like, he's conditioning his mind to not be scared of rejection. So he would go and he would like purposely ask things that he knew they were going to say no to, just to get used to hearing the word no and being okay with it. So he said he went out to eat to a burger place, and then when he finished his food, he was like, can I get a burger refill? And they were like, what? And he was like, yeah, like a drink refill. Can I get a burger refill? And they were like, no, we don't do that here. So he was like, okay. He was like, and then he was like, I bought a flower and I went to like a random house. I just knocked on the door and he was like, hey, can I plant my flower in your garden? And the guy was like, why? And he was like, I just have this flower and I want to plant it. And the guy was like, he was like, no, but the lady down the street loves flowers. You can go ask her.
It's funny how you couldn't even say no, right?
Uh-huh.
What is wrong with no?
Yeah, that's his thing. He's like asking why. He was like, why not? Yeah. So then the guy was like, yes, that was the whole point of the TikTok, asking why not. And so he went to the other lady, and the lady was so happy. She let him plant the flower. So yeah, the power of asking why not.
And that's what I was trying to say before. Mm-hmm. If you see that, we always have to question ourselves why or what happened. If we do that, and then we protect. Of course, we cannot protect ourselves,
right?
Like
from everything.
For everything. But if we're trying to plan all the scenarios in our mind, we can give the response. So what if I do the podcast and I fail? Okay, what's the worst that can happen?
Or why? Why would I fail?
Yeah, or what would I fail? But what if that happens? What happened with me? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like
you go on with your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's the worst? Like nothing is gonna make you die. I went to this process here in Houston. Over there in Houston. That it was about they were asking why what are your excuses. So somebody asked me, what do you want? And I say, I want this. And they why? And I was like, because I don't know, I give another excuse, and then I start to say why to everything,
right?
Until they told me why you don't do it. And I was like, oh boy, I don't have any excuses for that. So I just create an excuse like, because I'm not good enough in this, or because this or that. And then they start to ask me why, until I get to the point, and I was like, just for me, like I don't have any more whys. Yeah. So I feel like that's an exercise that we can do for ourselves. It's just to start asking what, or not maybe what. So just we can only ask us what happened if.
Yeah. But I think also knowing your why is very important when you're trying to do something. Because let's say working out, it's not easy. You're not always going to feel motivated. Sometimes you're like, okay, I have to make time, so I have to push everything back. But why? Why do you make it a priority? Because I want to be healthy. Because I want to look good. Because whatever your why is what's going to keep you going. Not so much I feel motivated today. No. On the days that you don't feel motivated, you think about your why. Why am I even doing this? Oh, because I want this. Okay. I got to go do it.
Yeah.
And also asking why. It reminded me when I competed in Miss Houston Latina. The first year, I got first runner-up. So instead of, and a lot of the girls who didn't win, they got mad. And they were like talking bad about the organization. And, so for me, instead of doing that, I was like, why? Why didn't I win? What did I not do right? So I went back and I analyzed everything. I looked at videos, I looked at pictures, and I was like, oh, I need to lose weight. I hadn't realized it until I saw myself on stage, like videos and pictures of me. I know I can do better in my interview. And then also because of pictures and videos, I was like, my stage presence needs help. So I went in and I got a walking coach. So I analyzed, what did I do wrong or what can I do better? Why? I was like, why did I not win? So once I found the things that I could improve, I went and I took the classes, came back the next year, and won the crown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. ¿Cómo dices para qué?
For what?
For what? Okay, that was it. No, it wasn't why. It was para qué.
Okay, okay.
For what? For what? For what? Because like you say, sometimes we have a goal, but we don't know for what.
Right, yeah.
So maybe your goal is I wanna go to the gym, right? But that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. You have to know for what. So when you ask, you're gonna end up saying that you want to be healthy because you want to have your family and your kids, and you want to have your better life. So sometimes the beliefs are superficial. Okay. But if we trying to ask ourselves every time for what, you're gonna see that there is a really strong purpose on that belief.
Yeah. In safety, we call that root cause analysis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, well, so back to my safety days. When an accident happened, why? So-and-so fell. Why did he fall? Oh, he slipped. Why did he slip? Oh, it was wet. Why was it wet? Because, or was it leak? Why was it leak? So you like, why, until you get to the root cause.
Yeah, the root cause. Yeah. I like that word. Yeah. So I know last time in the last episode, or not last episode, in the Spanish episode, you explained an exercise that your class make you do it about your childhood. Yes. But it was asking you why or.
Okay, so what she did was she has you write down everything you learned from your mom and your dad. So she says, get a journal and then write dad. So you're going to write down everything you learned from your dad, good and bad. And then you're going to write mom. You're going to write down everything you learned from your mom, good or bad. And if you didn't have a dad or a mom, you're going to write down what you learned from their absence. And so then you also focus on what did you learn about your worth? What did they teach you about relationship? Well, okay, so what did they teach you about worth? What did they teach you about relationships? What did they teach you about money? And what did they teach you about life? And oh my goodness, when I did this, I cried for days. Because it's like certain things started making sense. And like I just started thinking about things that I had done or I had allowed. And I was like, I allowed this because I didn't feel worthy. Or I allowed this because so-and-so. And I had like a paradigm shift in my thinking. I changed certain things in my life. And I feel like if you just change your mentality, you can change your life so much. Oh, yeah. And all you did was change the way you think. You didn't like physically go out there and like get a different look. Or you didn't go out there and move cities. Like all you did was change your mentality and your life just like makes a 360.
That's completely true. Actually, I was talking yesterday with a friend and she was telling me how we can help this person that doesn't want to be helped. Oh, yeah. And it was so, because I was telling her, it's weird how you know that this is going to be good for this person, but how you going to make that person understand why you're trying to do that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because of the mentality, but you have to go through situations or go through emotions that sometimes you avoid, but that's gonna help you to create the mentality that you need for your purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I love how people always say that that actually that's a belief that nobody can change.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's funny how you say that, and a lot of people have that belief.
Okay.
And you are not even the same person as you were 30 days ago, because even your cells are changing every 21 days or something like that. I read something like that, but
yeah, I've heard that you get like completely new skin every 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's true. Somewhere on Facebook. No, but I do believe that we are constantly evolving as human beings.
You're not the same person as you were yesterday.
Right.
And
but I think the problem people make is like they're like, oh, I want this person to be like this and I'm gonna change them, or I want them to be this way because that's what I want him to be, instead of maybe that's just not the person for you.
And that's the true example, because you always trying to change people, or you always trying to have a relationship with a person, but you always avoid have a relationship with yourself. And I think we spoke this in the Spanish episode.
Okay, I think we touched on it a little bit.
But because we say, okay, if you are your own friend, let's say you duplicate yourself or you clone yourself, how you're gonna feel whenever you have an emotion or whenever you have a situation you wanna desahogar. I don't know.
Vent. You wanna vent.
You wanna vent that situation, and then your friend just ignore you, or you say that don't worry, that's not true, or things like that. You're probably gonna cut that friendship, right? Because that person is not understanding yourself. So it's the same with us. If you think about ourselves as another person, how we're gonna be treated, or how we would like to be treated with a friend. So why you don't sit down and start asking us this question, like what am I, or what I really want, or what are the beliefs that I adopt from my parents, or what are the things that are holding me back to fulfill my purpose.
And I think we are our own, like, what is it, our worst critics. And we're very hard on ourselves, and it's like sometimes people talk to themselves in a way that they wouldn't talk to a friend. So why are you talking to yourself like that?
Exactly.
And that's something that I actually had to work on, like just loving myself. And so it's been a whole process for me, and that was one of the things. And I did a session with Rob, and he was the psychologist for Fire Up. And he was like, you need to love yourself. Because, we're talking about kids. And I was like, I do want to have kids. And he was like, do you need to learn how to love yourself first in order for you to love your baby the right way? Like the way the baby deserves, or your kid deserves to be loved. So I was like, oh. Because if it's just like me, I'm like, I don't care, whatever. Like, like, I'm fine. I don't need to, like, look at myself. I don't need to love myself, whatever. Sometimes we have that mentality. But then when he said it like that, and I was like, oh. I was like, that's true. How am I going to love a child if I don't even know how to love myself?
Yeah, how you're going to share something that you don't even have?
Exactly.
Oh my God, it's deep.
It's
really
it is, yeah.
Yeah, because, and I think that happens a lot with moms. I don't know if in all cultures, but for my mom is Hispanic, of course. It's Latina. And I feel like sometimes moms just give everything for you, and they
don't put themselves first.
And at this point my mom have like 45 or 43. Like, she always said she have 28.
We'll believe her. Yes.
Let's say she has 28, just like me. But so I was talking to her, and I was asking her, what are the things that you really want to do? Like, you already grow us up. You already grow us up. We are adults, and now it's your turn. Like, what do you really want to do? And she was like, I don't even know. I never asked that to myself. And I was telling her, you have to start doing little things, because you never know what you're gonna do if you don't taste different things, right? And I was giving her the example of food. Like, I was telling her, if you taste a kiwi, I don't know if I'm just gonna say the fruits in Spanish. Kiwi, I think
that's how you say it. Okay.
If you taste a kiwi, you have to taste the kiwi in order to know if you like it or you dislike it, right? Or it's the same with mangoes or with everything. And that happens too with the life. You have to, I don't know, taste this. Let's say I'm gonna taste if I wanna be a coach.
Right.
So I did the course, the classes. I take the classes and I do everything, and I got my certificate. And I was doing that, but whenever I did that, I was like, I don't think this is gonna be for me. And that's the thing, that you have to believe that you need a time that you can do certain things because of your age or it's like, no, that's a belief. I think it was the Walt Disney. He failed so many times, and everyone was telling him, no, you can do this. He got fired. I have my Instagram, I have the story, of course in Spanish, but I have the story of him, and it was amazing how he started, like, at his 40 years or something like that. But
it's never too late.
It's never too late, but you have to put yourself first. And you have to taste different things. It doesn't mean that if you start something, you're gonna keep doing that because you have to. You don't have to do that. To be honest, you don't have to. The only thing that we really have to, it's die, because that's not an option. That we have to. Like, everyone have to die, but that's not an option. The other things have options. I don't know if I'm saying.
No, you're right. And I feel like that's something I've done. Like, last night I was at an event and this girl was telling her friend, like, oh, she's done this and she's done that, like, she's been on Exatlón and she's done fitness competitions and she's like has a podcast, and like telling her like all the things I've done. And I was like, she was like, you've done a lot. And I was like, I'm like, I try a lot of different things. And I have, and I love that I have, because everything that I've tried has left me with some sort of experience or lesson. And at the end of the day, it all brought me back to psychology, what I originally wanted to do. But I feel like it's great because I got to see different perspectives of, like, just different parts of life, basically. I didn't just, like, I'm going to do psychology and then just focus on that, and I have this belief because this is how I was taught in school. And, I feel like it's actually made me more open-minded than that. I feel like maybe I wouldn't have gone through this course, which I feel like it's great. Not saying that what you'd learn at school isn't great. It is, but like she's more like on the spiritual side, and school doesn't teach you that. So I love that she's able to, like, bring God into it and add spirituality to it, and it makes more sense to me because, as we talked before, we are spiritual beings. I do believe that. And something that she says that I love is, she says, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. She's like, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Which lines up with the Bible. If you do read the Bible and believe in God, it says that we're just passing by, that we're not from here. So, like, little things that I've learned through doing different things have opened up my eyes about things that I probably wouldn't have the mentality I have now if I hadn't tried all those different things that I've done.
That's true. And another things that help us, it's who are we networking with. On my job, I have the opportunity to know really successful persons. And one time, one of that persons invited me to have lunch, just out of business. We were talking, and I remember he was telling me that he needs guardaespaldas.
A security guard.
A security guard, and he loves to be in Houston just because he doesn't have the security guards. And he was telling me so many things about his life. And I was when I was listening to him, and I was like, wow, it's amazing how something. Oh, because he was, of course, he was telling me his problems, and I was thinking, oh my god, what kind of problems is that, right? Like it was like it's funny how when you feel like you can do certain things, another person came and teach you how that's a possibility that you don't even contemplate. So he was telling me something about business, and he was telling me like I remember he said something about money, and I was like, he was like, oh, I went to this restaurant and I paid like $1,000, and it was really good because of the experience and blah 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 blah. And then I was thinking, oh my god, $1,000, that's a lot. And then I started thinking, okay, that's a lot for me,
right?
But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have the possibility to do this. And then I asked him, how much do you do per hour?
Okay.
Because I have and he told me something, and he was like, your time is priceless. You cannot put price per your hour.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that it doesn't have. That doesn't. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on. Okay, doesn't gonna last.
Okay.
So lo voy a hacer en español. Okay.
Okay, I'll translate it.
Tu tiempo es lo único que no tiene como que no es ilimitado.
Okay.
O sea, tú tienes un límite en tu tiempo.
Okay.
Entonces, tú no le puedes poner un precio a tu hora porque estás dando algo que para ti es
something you'll never get back.
Exactamente. Okay. Entonces él dice, cuando tú piensas así y piensas el dinero como una energía, tú te vas a dar cuenta que va a venir el dinero y va a ir sin necesidad de necesitarlo.
Yeah. Okay, so she's saying that she asked him, how much do you make per hour? And he said, I don't put a number on my hour or on my time because it's something it's actually limited. Eventually we're going to run out of time, or we only have certain time in a day, so it's very valuable. So he doesn't put a price on the hour, and that money is energy, so it's something that comes and goes.
Exactly.
So you can't like assign a certain amount to this hour, which makes perfect sense, because what if, I know a lot of people who go and give a 1 hour conference and they charge $5,000. So imagine if they were like, oh, I'll charge $20 per hour. Well, you only made $20. So.
And I was like, oh my god, that's true. Like what I have to live per hour when that's my most valuable
possession,
I think. Yeah. So I don't know, that changed my mind a lot, and then I discovered that I have the belief that I have to really work hard for the money.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't work for money. And actually that's on the Bible, that's a part of that. This is a part of the Bible that I read, and I was like, oh my god, this has been here for years and years. I never read this. And it says you are a creation of God, the God of everything. He creates sun, he creates light, he creates everything in the and if you are his precious creation, what makes you think that you need something? If and the Bible says something like, if the birds and the deers doesn't need to work because they know they can have everything from God, what makes you think that you have to when you are the sello de la creación?
Well, like, I guess the most important part of the creation?
The most important part of the creation. So,
and it's true.
That made me realize that, to be honest, that's true. Actually, I take a course too about money. Okay. It was a Bible course. And I love it because they were talking about.
I want to take it too.
Oh yeah, you have. It's really, really good. Okay. They were talking about how money creates or not creates ourselves, but money makes us live with limitations. Okay. Because you work for money, but you don't work for fulfill your purpose. Exactly. And God created you with a purpose. And whenever you live in your purpose, you're gonna see how money comes and goes. Yeah. So it's amazing how that aligns with my friend, with what my friend told me.
And it's so like I feel like I can say that I agree with that 100% from personal experience, because I was very like, oh, I need to make more money. Oh, I got to pay, when I was single, I got to pay bills and I have to make so much and blah, blah, blah. And And if I didn't have like a certain number in my bank account, I would stress out. And now, like, I haven't worked since November, like, for money. I work to do what I love now, but not for money. So I get up every day and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. And basically it's work because people get paid to do this. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because this is what I love to do. And this is because I feel like I'm fulfilling a purpose. I haven't worked since November and I'm doing very well. Like, you know, like, I'm just going to say that.
But that aligns with what you say. How that made you feel?
It was like an eye-opener. I was like, oh my God, all this time I've been like, oh, I have to work a job that I don't even love. And I have to do this and I have to for money. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to work for money. You know, I have a boyfriend and he can worry about that.
Oh my God. Everyone coming to go, oh my God.
No, but like, I feel like men and women are different. I mean, eventually he'll get to a point to where he doesn't either. But I feel like right now, like, especially being a woman, like, I don't feel like we need to be focused on money. Like, for us, that's going into survival mode. Do we want to live in survival mode? I don't. So, you know, and like I said, I'm going to take the financial course, and eventually we'll get to where we're both fulfilling our purpose and we're not working for money and money's just flowing. That's the goal. Like, to where money's flowing, we're not working for it. We're working because we are fulfilling our purpose.
In the Bible says that you don't have to adore another gods, right? Or love another gods.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's funny how we has been created, or we have been created to fulfill our purpose,
right?
The purpose that God gave you.
Yeah.
And then I think it's the number one mandamiento.
Is it really?
Yeah. Es amarás a Dios sobre todas las cosas.
The first commandment?
The first commandment.
I don't even know them in order, to be honest.
It says that
I'll trust you. So we'll fact check
you're
this.
You're going to love God
over everything.
Over everything. And if you put money first, that's your God. So you are not doing that commandment.
Yeah.
So if you start to work for money and you start to live for money, I don't know if have you see the image on Instagram that it's a man with a like un palo así, with money in front, and he's walking, and then at the end of the walk he have his tumba.
Oh no, his grave.
His grave. Yeah, and it's like, are you living for money or are you living with money?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's amazing how most of the people have that belief,
right,
that you need money,
right. And I think that's huge, like the money one. Like we were talking about my boyfriend earlier, but he's being very like, you know how it says give your diezmo in the Bible, like to give your 10%. And he wasn't doing that before, so he was like, I've been doing it like religiously, and he was like, and this is the most like he's made. And he was like just so grateful. I don't know if I'm gonna edit this out because it's like money stuff, a little bit personal, but I don't know, I want to share it right now. But he was surprised because he was telling his coworkers, and they're like, why are you giving that much? And he was like, I've been very blessed with a lot of hours. He's like, we've been working a lot. We've been making a lot of, well, he has more than them because they'll give him the hours, or they'll give him the opportunity to come in. And he was like, and he's like, all I've been doing is just giving.
Yeah, and that's the power of the commandments.
That
if you obey God, He is gonna give you more. That's my belief, of course, and I pretend for you, the listeners, to have that my same belief.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how everything has been there on the Bible.
Yeah.
And we avoid it as much as we can to read the Bible, and then you find everything. Like, to be honest, I paid $2,500 per my certificate, for my coach certificate.
Okay.
And I learned a lot, and I was like really amazed for everything that I
learned. This is some amazing new information.
Yes, it was like, oh wow, I never heard about this. And then when I was reading the Bible, I was like, oh. Here it is. It's the same information, and I paid when I have the Bible like for so many years in my house. I felt dumb in that moment, but I was like, it's funny how we just have the. I remember in the Sugarland Bible Church, the man that I listened to on YouTube, he always said, "This is the book of knowledge."
Yeah.
And it is true. I had been reading and I was like, oh my god, this is like all the personal development, it's there.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
It's my belief now. But
no, it really is, yeah. And I've confirmed it too. And I feel like a lot of the times people shy away from the Bible because sometimes people don't give it like the best reputation, just like Christianity in general.
And that's funny. That's funny because you don't need to like you don't have to judge the people. Because that have nothing to do with the people or that religion.
Right.
It's the relationship that you create with God. To be honest, I don't go to any church. I listen to YouTube, the Sugarland Bible Church, Andy Woods. I love him because he explained the Bible really good. And sometimes I go to some church, but I don't have the
like you're not religious.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And the people sometimes is like, oh my god, you're weird. Because I feel like I'm a person and he created me as a person and I'm not perfect. Right. And I understand that. I get that. So because I'm only perfect through God, that I think we were texting about that, right?
Yeah.
I'm only perfect through Jesus. It's not like that I have to do everything because I can't. I don't have all the capabilities. But I don't know, I feel like whenever I start to believe and live in the word, that was much better for my life. I feel more relief.
Yeah. And my mom and I were talking about it because she's been religious since I was little. And whenever I took the course as well, I was like, I learned this and I learned that. And she was like, you already knew that. And I'm like, but I didn't know how to put it into action.
Oh.
And so I'm doing the course with her now because it's in English, so I'm translating for her. And she's like understanding now. She was like, oh, she's like, now I get what you mean. She was like, yeah. She was like, we've read it all the time. She's like, I've read this so many times. She was like, but I didn't really understand it, or I didn't know how to put it into action.
Yeah.
So then you have all these people like talking about the Bible or like, trying to convert you to Christianity when they themselves don't really understand how to put what the word says in action.
I feel like they put the words like they have it as another book, like not a book, but they create. I remember I was talking with a friend and she was telling me that that's the book of rules. Right. So she doesn't want to read the rules because she just don't know any rule.
Okay.
That way she don't know whenever she's broken the rule or not. And I was like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with that. And I told her about the story and how everyone is a sinner in that book, because if you read it, it's weird. Like, to be honest, the Bible is really weird how everyone is a sinner. Everyone that I don't know why people have the conception that the Bible is full of the perfect people.
No, not at all.
And everyone is a sinner. Like, I remember the story of the daughters that make the Lot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Lot make his daughter, their daughters, make him drunk in order to have sex with him.
What? With the dad?
Yeah, with the dad, because
I didn't know that.
Creo que esa es la historia de Lot.
I just know about the wife turning into a statue of salt.
Oh, okay. There is a story on the beginning that says that the daughters...
That is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But it's funny how they disobey and they create his own rules, or because they supposedly when you have a son, you can continue with your linaje.
Okay. There's a word for it in English too. I can't think of it. But they carry the name, basically?
Yeah, they carry the name. So the daughters were afraid of that, and they did that. So
because they had no brother?
They have no brother, so they...
What in the world?
No, you can read the stories and it was like, oh...
Yeah, boy. Yeah, you'll read some pretty crazy things in there.
Yeah, and it's funny how always God came and she's like, oh my God, why you did?
Yeah.
Why you do that? I told you to not do that. And then they start to, and it's funny how you can see how many sinners like...
Yeah, I think David is a really good example too. How he loved David And David, he like even had a man killed so he could take his wife.
Yeah.
Like you're like, well, he forgave David. Then you know, like I think I'm doing all right.
That's true. That's true. And
I mean, not to say that like now you have an excuse to go do bad things, but
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny how it's in the Bible. It's showing you how do things with examples.
Yeah.
You know, like
like parables.
And it's funny how if you read the Power of Now. It's the same thing. The only thing is the person is explaining you everything, but in the Bible it's telling you example of this person do this and then God came and then oh my God.
The computer's about to die, so we're gonna have to probably
end up our sermon. Sorry, we were talking about beliefs
all kinds of stuff. No, but that's why I love podcasting, because you can just go all different directions with it.
I don't know how we ended up in here.
We did the same thing with the last one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this one, and then we're gonna do a part 2 where we keep we just finished talking about limiting beliefs. Yeah, because there's still like so much about limiting beliefs that we didn't cover, so we'll cover that on the next part. So for now, make sure to follow us on social media. I am Brianda.Carrasco on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, which we probably did if you're listening to this. Also, my supplement company, which is one of the sponsors, BCN Supplements. And then Ale,
I do have a company. It's Diego Cosmetics. You can follow me too on Ale Mora with H at the end, 11, and that's it.
Yeah, and then if you want to purchase the supplements, you can use code BUILT for 10% off at www.bcnsubs.com. And then if you would like to purchase some of the makeup, you can find it at www.makeupbydiego.com. Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to us. We'll be back with more about limiting beliefs. Bye. If you like this podcast, share it. Maybe it will be of help to someone you know. And if you don't want to miss any of our podcasts, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel. Built from the Inside Out wants to give you a 10% discount on your next supplement purchase at www.bcnsubs.com. Just use code BUILT at checkout. Thank you so much for listening.